All right, I will call to order the regular park meeting of the Lisle Park District Board of Park Commissioners in the Park District Recreation Center. Today, Thursday, July 18th, 2024 at 7 p.m. Dan, can I have a call to order and roll call?
Commissioner Tapella?
Present.
Commissioner Browski is absent. Commissioner Altpeter?
Present.
Commissioner Hummel?
Present.
Present. Let's all stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic.
One nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right. Sorry for all the feedback we're having. This might be an ongoing issue tonight here. All right. We do not have a remote attendance authorization at this point, so I'll move on to presentations, which we do not have any. So I'll move on to public comment. Visitors are welcome to address the Board of Park Commissioners. You are asked to raise your hand and wait to be recognized by the board president. When recognized, please move to the lectern, speak into the microphone, and state your name, address, and the item you wish to discuss. It is requested that one spokesperson for a group be appointed to present the views of the entire group rather than have multiple individuals repeat similar opinions. There will be a 5-minute time limit per speaker. And then real quick before we start, many of you have been here before, so you've heard that exact thing. So I am going to remind about the 5-minute time limit. Mr. Silver over here will be timing it. It's not like a cumulative 5 minutes. You get one go at the podium, and if you don't use your 5, that's it. So there's not going to be a back and a forth debate for him here. You get one shot and then max of 5 minutes. And then I'll just remind everyone, I think, we're obviously here to talk about baseball fields, I assume? No? Okay. Many of you, as well as myself, right, live in Green Trails. We're all neighbors, so, please remember that. Be respectful of each other out. You're going to see each other on the trails. Your kids might go to school together. So please treat yourselves like neighbors that you are. And with that, let's go. Go ahead, please. Yeah, from the light.
I will give you a 1 minute notice to your time. So when 4 minutes up, I'll go 1 minute to go, just to give you an idea of where you are in time.
Hello, my name is Helen Chow, and I have lived on Turnberry Drive for 25 years. For the last 2 years, I have regularly taken pickleball classes. I'd like to thank the Park Board and District for renovating the tapewood parks and adding 6 new pickleball courts. I also want to thank you for hiring Coach Bill. He's an exceptional teacher. Today, I wish to discuss the interruption of the pickleball program. In April of this year, 11 students petitioned the Park District to change our advanced class from 10 a.m. to 8 a.m. for people who work. Over the previous 2 years, we always had 3 morning sessions. The Park District ignored our requests and instead removed the 8 a.m. session from May through July this year. Park District's reply to our petition was, quote, "We have found that the 8 a.m. classes tend to bring the public out to the park even earlier in order to use the court before the start of class, thus causing some issues with early morning noise in the neighborhood," unquote. That was a wrong assumption. Had the Park District asked the 8 a.m. student, we could tell them we rarely found anybody playing on the court before 8 a.m. In a letter dated April 26 this year, the Park District told us they have removed the portalet from the Abbeywood Park. The removal was the suggestion from one neighbor back in February. He claimed there were damage to the park path due to the surfacing truck. Again, we observed no damage other than the usual wear and tear from temperature fluctuation. The Park District removed the portalet without consideration to the rest of the community users. Last week, a senior felt faint on a hot day because she was afraid to drink water and then have to use the bathroom. A compromise solution should have been considered, like moving the parterlet closer to the road for surfacing. At the beginning of July, we suddenly heard that Abbeywood Court would be quote unquote closed. Then we found out that 12 days ago, the Park District already told the board that the entire pickleball program would end in August. Yet all the students were kept in the dark. Shouldn't the students be involved when there is a major interruption? Currently, Tate Wood is projected to open in late September or October. That means we will not have class for August, September, and maybe even longer. This interruption affects our progress. I know that from the minute back last year on July 20th, the park board decided that the park district has done all it is willing to do, and discussion of pickleball matters should have been on hold. Today, I bring you evidence that the staff had further diminished our pickleball program without the involvement of the students. I request the park board to reinstate our pickleball classes. Audience, please raise your hand if you support our pickleball classes. Thank you.
Thank you. The hands go down. Anyone else? Sure, go ahead. Go ahead. Oh, sorry, I was calling at him. Yeah, sorry, he had his hand up first, sorry.
One speaker per group, and we didn't really have a chance to organize like the others, but I'm a resident. And I would like to speak on behalf of the residents. You know, this basically, our understanding is the courts are in the wrong place. My name's Bruce Montgomery. I live at 6198 Shorewood Court. I live right across from the pickleball courts. And since they went in, you just can't imagine, I think we've told you, but what we've gone through in terms of dealing with not just people in the program who are taking classes or just pickleball in general, but the noise, the crowds, the traffic. And there's been other things, but I'm not going to get into a lot of detail. It was our understanding that there was, in general, a consensus and agreement that this was the wrong place for two pickleball courts. Too close to the houses, which is a nationwide concern. And it's been in the news, and people have talked about it across the country. So it's not just a couple of residents. It's everybody who generally lives next to a pickleball court. And in some instances, with our pickleball courts across from Abbeywood, they're 40 feet from our property lines. So the noise is horrendous. It permeates the houses. Now that we can work from home, we have to put our phones on mute because we are told to, because people can hear the noise in the background. Pickleball, and we've tried to get compromise from the pickleball players. We've asked for soft paddles and soft balls to no effect because they don't want to invest in it or they don't like it. I mean, and I play ball. I kind of get the understanding that nice pop effect means you hit the sweet spot. I don't know, but it's not something that's pleasant if you live by it and have to deal with it. So now that we have a pickleball complex in an area that is relatively immune to the noise that pickleball generates, being close to 88, we should have pickleball there. And we've asked for programming to be moved in general to try to alleviate the load. And I'm sure it's not the good folks that sit behind me that cause a lot of the problems. I mean, they're not there when we have young men, teenagers, whoever they are, who are just screaming and yelling epithets when they hit the ball and score. And I don't think the folks behind me hear that stuff. But we hear it frequently. And my neighbors and I look at each other and we say, what do we do? Are we going to call the cops this time? We've called the cops. I've called the cops. First time I did, they didn't show up. Went to the police headquarters to file a report. The second time they showed up, they asked me, what do you want us to do? I'm like, go talk to them. Just ask them that it's past hours to leave. Well, I can file a trespassing complaint, but you have to sign it or something to that effect. So we're not getting, this, and about the soundproofing wall, we thought that was a bad idea. One of the reasons why we thought it was a bad idea was because we have second floors. And that was something that was brought up at the time. So, I mean, I don't quite get it. I think it's a nuisance to the neighbors. There's relatively few of us in front of Abbeywood Court, and it's affected us greatly. And it's disrupted our lives. It's probably affected our health. And it's a simple solution to move it to where everybody has, it's going to be a place where there's going to be a lot less impact from the noise. And this thing about the porta potty. I'm telling the truth. I'm not standing up here making nuts stuff. And when it comes to the porta potty, I was the one that asked to have it removed. And why is that? Because we get the pump truck in there at 5 a.m. in the morning in front of our bedrooms. And we asked to have that changed, and Park District tried to do that. Yet the guys change and they do it again.
All right, time.
Thank you.
Yeah, sorry. Whoever was speaking also, while he was speaking, please let him have his turn. Sorry, not you. Someone was speaking over you. Please make sure he has his chance for comment. Thank you. All right, good.
Hi. My name is John Madigan. I'm a Scarlet Oak Lane resident since 1991. I'd like to thank the board for your service and your multiple attempts at compromise, and acknowledge that you are in the middle of a pickle. There is a pun intended there. The only thing to enlist more viral opposition from would be an Instagram post that would be both critical of Taylor Swift and Dolly Parton in the same sentence. But the park and you as its representatives are here to service the community. And I stress the community. Lisle Park District was established in 1967. And a little excerpt from your Park District Charter, and I quote, "Parks and programs are designed to provide wholesome, constructive, and enjoyable leisure time experiences that benefit the individual, the family, and the community." And again, I stress the community. A little bit about pickleball demographics. Lisle's over 45 population is more than 40% of our total population. Pickleball is excellent for aging tennis players, newcomers, and couch potatoes to improve their health and connections with Lisle community. And I stress community again. Many of these are the reasons why the Park District voted 3 years ago to establish Abbey. In 2023, the United States has almost 12,000 places to play pickleball. They added 1,100 last year alone, almost 10% in 1 year. Illinois added almost 100 different places to play in 2023. In time, the supply, Kate Woods and others in the area, will decrease.
I said pause the time for a second while we try. Sorry.
Can I start again? Yeah. It doesn't sound bad.
I can get mine up.
Can we still talk? We're good? So I can go ahead? Okay. In time, supply, meaning Tate Woods and others, will decrease any perceived burden on the Abbeywood neighbors. Mr. Garvey mentioned in the board meeting that Lisle is seeing significant growth in individual pickleball play and Lisle Park District pickleball class participation. I would say that is a success, and the Park District mandate to serve the community. And I stress the community. A little bit about Lisle community. The 2020 census of 97 households and a community of 24,000 people. I stress that's the community. Vocal neighbors at best represent 20 individuals, the closest of which their front doors are 100 feet apart. Let's not talk about their borders. They are adjacent to a road intersection, a busy road, and have refused staff's efforts to remediate noise with shrubs, windscreens, noise screens, and other compromises. So we're all willing to listen to the compromises. Mr. Woltulakasis, I'm sorry if I mispronounced your name, purchased his home a few years ago during the height of the pandemic. I'm sure that was a serene existence with little traffic and courts closed because of the pandemic. But he bought a house on a busy street with tennis and existing basketball courts and planned pickleball courts. Mr. Garvey mentioned last month about the national and Chicago media coverage. This should have no consideration in a topic that is exclusively to Lisle. This doesn't have to do with anything in Southern California. There's only one person that has enlisted this unhelpful, self-serving scrutiny. Mr. Garvey proposed 3 choices at the June meeting. 1, maintain the status quo and affirm the Park District 22 board decision to establish Abbeywood Pickleboard. Enforce the existing noise ordinance. Please do that. Enforce the existing limits on play from dawn to dusk and establish some compromise that the other folks have not agreed to, such as the shrubs, the wind, and the noise screens. Or 2, close the courts and pander to the vocal minority at the expense of the community. Or 3, require quiet court technology that is expensive, not approved by the Pickleball Association, and is akin to changing the basketball rim to 12 feet because the vocal minority doesn't like people doing a slam dunk, or require a short range golf balls at River Bend because of errant shots end up in neighbors' backyards. Both the court and the technology are slippery slopes that pander to a vocal minority. Behind my home, should children be quiet and soccer and lacrosse referees not use their whistles? While I understand you are trying to craft a compromise, you must ask yourself to represent the Lisle community and not 20 vocal things. I had extra time.
Vidas Matulauskas, the one that mentioned as a bad guy. I have one question to the pickleball community. How many of you are from Lisle? How many of you live closer than 250 feet to the court? The fact is,
Stop.
pickleball players.
This is not public engagement. This is public comment to
Okay.
the board.
Answer is clear. It's a 0.
Stop. This is a chance for the public to talk to the board, not public engagement. Thank you.
So it's 0. Literally, nobody lives at 250. Here's the stuff. I moved to Lisle, healthy person, 3 years ago. Last month, I had a heart surgery. It's a stress-related thing. If you can listen, if you can read the internet, if you know how to use Google, you can find people are complaining about the stress related to pickleball every day. We don't have to reinvent the wheel. Last year, Denver set 500 feet limit to the courts. Naperville, or Dan Garvey, has a 500 feet limit to the courts now. Do we need to reinvent the wheel? I'm at 40 feet. What's the difference between 40 and 500? 10 times. That means I get 10 times more noise. I have to demonstrate something. It's a regular pickleball. It's a quiet pickleball. See the difference? Regular one and the quiet. We decided 2 years ago, quiet technology would be used. It was posted every day for the last 2 years. Does anybody have quiet paddle or quiet ball? I haven't seen one yet. So here's the demonstration. Thank you.
Very nervous. I'm just going to start off with that. Lisa Porch. I live on Breckenridge Road, 20-year Green Trails resident. And I just want to very quickly say about the complaining, the statistic that I saw today is that only 1% across the country nationwide complain about pickleball sound problems. Okay, 2 issues I'm here to advocate for tonight. 1, continuing our pickleball lessons as originally planned, and 2, keeping Abbeywood courts as permanent courts. I understand and can even empathize with the small amount of residents who are not happy with the noise from gameplay, but I believe that any of us could name things that bother us in our communities, but we let it go, knowing it's either for a community benefit or to simply get along with our neighbors. If we can't let it go, we need to make a choice that perhaps it's time to move to a community that is better suited to us. It's unfortunate that something that is bringing people together and creating community in Lisle is something that is being taken away in the form of canceling our lessons and talk that this court is to be permanently closed. We all pay taxes. Why does it feel that our experience is less valued than those who do not want pickleball near their homes when they chose to live near a community park? The loss of our lessons is a huge loss for those of us who play and a loss of revenue for the park district, not to mention the cost involved of the wasted taxpayer dollars if those courts that were only recently built are now going to be destroyed. Having an active community is an important factor in community development and should be a goal of the park district. It increases home values. It makes Lisle a more desirable community. Our surrounding communities, Wheaton, Naperville, Downers Grove, Woodridge, they've all put money into pickleball courts, indoor and outdoor. They clearly see the community benefit. So it makes me wonder why Lisle is focused on taking something away that has such a positive impact and success. Our town is smaller, but because of that, it's important to keep our smaller community parks active and usable. It is a benefit of a smaller town. We have members who walk and bike to our Abbeywood courts. Having walkable access in our communities is something that allows us to be an active community. It is important for Lisle to keep up with the demand of pickleball. It is not a fad that's going to go away. It's popular because it is an everybody's sport and it's a life sport. No matter your age or athletic ability, you can fit in. You will not be overlooked, you will play. I understand schools are adding pickleball now to their physical education classes, and we need to make sure that Lisle's younger generation has biking and walking access to these courts as well. Lisle does not have a lot of programs that attract teens, but I can tell you that when my daughter was in high school with her friends, they started playing as soon as Naperville opened their courts, and it's through her that I actually started playing. This program is something that should be celebrated and built upon, not cut back. Lisle pickleball should be a story of success, but is instead being viewed as a failure due to a small group. The new courts at Tate are going to be a great addition, but it should not become a replacement. Once Tate courts are completed and lessons are moved there, the usage at Abbeywood will become more acceptable. And from past meeting minutes, I have read about the heavy usage at Abbeywood. I live not far from there, cut past there all the time. I don't see that heavy usage. I strongly encourage the park district to install some sort of monitoring system to verify the usage before you make a decision to remove them. I also highly encourage all the board members to come and observe our lessons. I think you will see the strengths and benefits of this community. It is a super positive environment where we laugh when we make mistakes. We give encouragement when others make mistakes. I believe our oldest member is 78 years old. She wasn't able to be here tonight, but if she was, she would tell you what a highlight it is for her to come to our lessons. We all know the importance of physical fitness and how it correlates to preventing many illnesses and diseases, but pickleball is unique in that it's an incredibly social sport that almost anyone can play. There is a huge mental health component that comes with the social aspect of this sport that is not found in other sports. In conclusion, I hope the board will keep in mind the many benefits pickleball adds to our community. They are incredible benefits that should be part of the Park District's highest values. I strongly encourage you to allow us to have our final lessons to close our season. I also urge some type of usage study before making any decisions to remove a neighborhood court. And I thank you for letting me share my points, and I am very much looking forward to Tate. I think it's going to be great when the lessons can be held there, but our community still needs a place where we can play locally. Thank you.
Good evening, honorable board members and fellow community members. I just wanted to highlight a few things. My name is Saket Bhatnagar, and I live at Abbeywood. And I really thank you everyone for bringing your point of view on pickleball. As a person who lives next to a pickleball court, I want to highlight some of the things that I've heard here. One of the things I clearly heard that pickleball is a growing sport, no doubts about that. And communities are planning to accommodate this hobby. So I request you to find a mutually agreeable way of people to come and play the sport more often. I don't think anyone here loves the Abbeywood pickleball court. They love pickleball courts. We need to find places where we can play pickleball without disturbing the peace in the neighborhood. So we also heard a lot of statistics. These are all very important statistics that you should keep in mind. Someone said 1% of people complain about noise. So I'm an engineer. I can tell you why it's so. Noise, as you go far from the source, it goes down. 0.06% of the people have chance to get robbed this year. That doesn't mean we shut off all the police departments. So this whole thing that majority wants something, so minority should pay for that, is not the right way to approach it. The right way to approach it is to make sure that the majority gets what they want without penalizing the minority. So my request would be to reconsider moving Abbeywood Court to a place where everybody can enjoy and no one is penalized for that. I'm not against pickleball. Talking about statistics, another point to note is that there are 3 or 4 families here that are opposing pickleball, and most of the people are not. What are the chances that you find these 3 or 4 families amongst hundreds of families who are supporting pickleball? They all live next to each other. That's statistically an impossibility. The only reason that's there is because they're living next to the pickleball court. The only people who are opposing are people who are living next to the pickleball court. They're not like randomly coming up from all parts of the Lisle Park District. So think about that. It is a noise issue only for people who live next to that place. And what one of my colleagues said about work from home issues, they're real issues. These policies that were, it should not be impacting our ways to earn money, our ways to work in a day-to-day environment from home. And I have heard pickleball noise at 6 o'clock in the morning. I've sent you emails with video proof of people playing it at 11 o'clock. So yeah, 11 o'clock. And I can, whoever wants it, 11 p.m. using glow-in-the-dark pickleball courts. So I'm, again, reinstating, I'm not against pickleball, but we are all tax-paying people. We should all be paying the taxes to find pickleball courts. If it means that we have to pay more taxes, I'm all for it, because, and I'm sure my colleagues here who love pickleball and would like to have more pickleball courts are all for it, because it's a community that wants to play pickleball. So let's find ways to, have viable pickleball courts. That's all I have to say. Thank you.
I'll talk quick. I know everyone wants to go home and have a beer. I'm Rocky Ruggiero. I've lived here for 30 years. I'm sympathetic to these people. I do want the court, but I want to compromise. And if you guys to just consider it, I know you guys don't have an enviable position, and whatever you guys do, I'm blessed to live here. With that said, all I'm saying is a little compromise. Here are some ideas. Tate Woods, 6 courts is 2 months away. Can we just, before you make this a permanent thing, wait to see if that helps? 2, I know someone else said that. Maybe we should bend a little on the lessons and wait for it to go to Tate Woods. That's a quick solution to help these people out. And I'd rather do that and keep this long term. I'm willing to do that. Of course, I'm not taking lessons. I think that's a fair compromise. The Park District, you guys are accommodating. You've shortened the hours there, 8. Maybe we should shorten them a little bit more if it doesn't work with the Tate Woods lessening. Okay? Maybe start at 9. Maybe these people, and we should maybe try to enforce it more. 11 o'clock, I'd want to wring somebody's neck too. I don't blame that guy. But maybe we should stop it at 6. Let's just maybe look at that as a compromise, and then we're not killing the courts. You guys took out the bathroom. It would be nice to have a bathroom. I hate taking a knee and getting caught by the police, but maybe that truck could be, thank you. Maybe the truck can come at some other time, because if that's the only reason, 5 a.m., it would be nice to have a porta potty there. There is truth to that. When you move across from a park, there's going to be a league ball, and there's going to be some things, and it should be reasonable, but they have to take some inconvenience. But it sounds like it is a pain in the butt for those guys. However, I heard a decibel reading test that they had a year ago, and I disagree with that. I've done my own test. It wasn't anywhere near as loud as what I read. My statistician's teacher said to me, there are liars. She was kidding. She goes, there's liars, damn liars, and statisticians. In other words, data can be what you want it to be. I just used my phone. There was an app, and it was like 52 on the decibel rating. Plus, it's a southerly wind, which actually helps those guys. Also, here's another compromise. Besides the hours and waiting, it's a windscreen, not a sound wall. A windscreen. A windscreen, verify this. Do your homework. It dampens the sound. We haven't even done it. You can still see through it. It's still beautiful, and it'll help pickleball or tennis. I love windscreens. That's a help. That could be 5 or 10%. That might be a difference. Even if you do change it over, you can keep the windscreens for the tennis court. So you're not throwing away any money. It's a benefit for either one. There are precedents. In Western Springs, 25 feet, there are 4 courts. You have been there at Western Springs. That is a true, and they live in harmony. At Butterfield at Lombard, they are 45 feet. At Lombard Road by the Walmart, they live in harmony. And people listen, they have shorter hours there too. In Arbor View here in Lisle, they live in harmony. They're closer there than here. So there are precedents of people getting along and making this work. And I just think we should have some compromise. Also, things, I disagree with Vitas. They were wood paddles before. Then they moved to these types of plastic, which are loud. That's louder, but it's not as loud as they were. Graphite is the trend in carbon, and this by inherently graphite and carbon, which is more paddles are going to, are inherently quiet. Verify it. Do your homework. That is true. And there's 200 paddleball companies, and 100 of them, or the top ones, Jula, a few are absolutely on their websites talking about sound. We don't want to hear it. It's loud to me. I get it, and it's loud to them. But it is trending that way, which is another reason to give it a little bit of time. And I hate to just make this a permanent thing, because Americans move every 8.5 years. What if 1 or 2 of these guys move and we're stuck with this decision? So the next people moving in might love to be across from a pickleball court. So in short, can you wait for the Tate Woods? Maybe we could all bend on the lessons and then move those over to Tate Woods. And let's see if I have anything else here. 5 minutes went quick. I'm a talker. I'm Sicilian. Sorry about that. I think that's pretty much it. Thanks, you guys. Whatever you do, we love you and we appreciate all that Lisle has. And I mean that from the bottom of my heart. So maybe find a middle of the road would be great.
Good evening. My name is John Girding, and I live in Green Trails. First off, let me apologize for my casual attire for this board meeting, but I came straight from, how apropos, pickleball lessons. I'm a very happy Lisle resident for 34 years now, and I live only a couple of blocks from Abbeywood Park. And let me say, one of the many wonderful things that attracted my family to our Lisle home was the proximity of Abbeywood Park. It could not have been more ideal for a young family with 4 children. We had paths to walk the dog, a playground for the youngest kids, basketball courts for the teenagers, and tennis courts for my wife and myself. And while tennis became a bit too strenuous for us once we hit our 70s, along came the fastest growing sport in America, pickleball. The Lisle Park District was innovative and at the forefront of this new sport 2 summers ago by deciding to replace one of the 2 tennis courts at Abbeywood, which were not being utilized that much anyway. I went by them all the time, with 2 pickleball courts. The idea was an immediate success. My sons purchased me a pickleball starter set, and I quickly became totally immersed in the sport and once again very active and re-energized, unlike so many seniors who tend to lead a little less active lifestyle. Now, I know it is said by some that this new sport creates too much noise for those living in the area. But anyone who purchased a home nearby must have been aware of the noises associated with a nearby park. Young kids yelling and laughing with joy on the swings and slides, young adults shouting and cheering on the basketball court, and even tennis players during the spirited game. And have you ever heard the loud grunts of professional tennis players during their power serves? True, the noise of the pickleball hitting the paddle may be initially annoying, but like anything else in life, you can get used to it rather quickly. Believe me, my family started out in an apartment right behind freight train tracks in the Grange, and we hardly noticed the sounds of those after several weeks. The Park District has attempted to work with the neighbors by altering times that the courts are available and by offering costly sound barriers. But these offers have been rejected. Why should the wishes of so many users of the facilities at Abbeywood Park be ignored in the favor of the few who remain steadfast in their objections and refusals to compromise? I love this new opportunity in my life to be so active at this older age. And by the way, I'm 4 years older than the one she thought was the oldest. I'm 82. And it's so very close to my home. And I am much happier and healthier for it. Let's not go backwards by removing the recently placed pickleball courts. Peace and quiet should not be the only goal at Abbeywood Park. If I wanted a quiet activity like chess or checkers, which I'm sure our neighbors would love, I would not seek it out at a neighborhood outdoor park district facility. These parks are full of vitality, and they're meant to include healthy, energized activities. And with such pursuits comes some noise. Folks, it's time for all involved, including our illustrious board here, to accept change, adapt, and compromise for the good of our wonderful community.
Okay. I'm Amanda. I've lived in High Point and Green Trails for 9 years. And I wrote this thing. I'm going to just kind of pick through it. So sorry if it's choppy, but I don't mean to repeat what other people have said for the sake of time. But I've been playing pickleball for about 4 years. I started playing on the Abbeywood courts before they were even pickleball courts. I've taken a lot of classes with Bill. Bill, you're wonderful. Thank you for everything. I agree with what everyone has said about community. I think it's fantastic to see people come to the courts and have to leave because they're full. And I think that that's a huge part of community. And I think the park districts should be proud of having space that people want to utilize and keeping up the space so that everyone can use them and it's maintained very well, and just the sense of community, and going there and meeting new people. And I've met people through classes, and I think that the pickleball community brings so much to what we have here in Lisle, and it's just so much more than just a game, really. Pickleball is not a year-round thing, nor is it 24/7. This is a summer activity. And I think that I have not been to any of these meetings, but I have heard about some of the suggested solutions to the problems at hand. And I spend a lot of time at the courts, and I have not seen really any changes. And I've heard about things like the sound barriers, and I haven't seen any of them. And I don't know why we're not trying to come to some kind of agreement, or at least perhaps try something to just see if it works. We are a community. We all live in the same space. And I think that, you know, we do need to work together to find something that works for all of us. You know, in a neighborhood and in a community, things change and roads are built and buildings go up and down, but it's for the sake of the community. And, you know, I think the courts were put in by the books, and I think a lot of people play by the books. And I think that if there's rules that need to be enforced, then I think that perhaps maybe we need to do that a little bit better. But I think that replacing something that is so well liked by so many and so well used, I think that's to the detriment of what the park district should stand for, really, in my opinion. And I think that people phase out of neighborhoods, honestly. I mean, my parents talk about moving because they're probably the oldest in their neighborhood now, and they're like, all these little kids are running around, for example, and it might be time for them to consider a different living situation, even though they love where they live. And also, I don't really want to talk about this, but last year I purchased paddles actually from Mr. Vitas, and I found them on Facebook Marketplace, and the radius on Facebook Marketplace is pretty low. I think it's typically set at like 5 miles for people. I didn't quite know where I was going, but when I got to the house, I knew exactly where I was. These are not quiet paddles. I bought a carbon 1 and a carbon 2, and I told him that I play at Abbeywood multiple times a week, and I paid him for the paddles. And I was there midday, and I use them at Abbeywood. My friend bought one. She uses it at Abbeywood. I don't know. I just think it's kind of interesting to me that it's something that apparently really strikes a chord for him, and yet he's doing something like that and also causing a lot of problems for a lot of people that found something that they love and stay active and implement it. You know, and foster a healthy lifestyle, build friendships, build community, build relationships. And to me, it's just kind of like, what side are you on? And I think it's a shame that we're not willing to try anything to save something that is so important to a lot of people. So I just wanted to speak my mind. I heard about the classes. I just got back from vacation, and I was like, I'm going. So thank you all for your time.
Hi, everybody. My name is Franklin Chow. I've been a property owner on Timebury Drive for 25 years. Tonight, I want to talk about Portland at Abbeywood Park. First of all, I am not a pickleball player. I'm not getting involved with this whole dispute of pickleball. I love to take long walks around Green Trail for my exercise. As an old man, I do need reassuring to have multiple potlatch within the green trails. But the one at Everwood Park has been removed. I missed that one. The next one is around 40 minutes walk away in Surrey Ridge. In my opinion, Park District should not remove the potlatch based on one single complaint. They should consider impact on the rest of the Lisle community. We all pay our tax to fund the Park District. I hope the board will consider bringing the potlatch back to Abbeywood. Thank you.
Hi, my name's Patty Clancy. I live on Inverness Road in Oakview, so I don't live in the Abbeywood community, but I've been a resident of Lisle for 31 years. One reason I feel Lisle is great, I mean, there's many reasons, but one of the reasons is the Park District. I looked up your mission statement. It says be community focused. I like that. I think we should be community focused. One of the few things, or some of the few things that we've done over the years, I've taken adult tennis lessons. It was quite a few years back. Loved those. Those were good. My children came up through the swim lessons. They took lots of numerous Park District offerings. The last 2 years, I've taken pickleball lessons with Bill, who you probably know. He's an awesome instructor. He's great. Okay, he's wonderful. I've met and made friends by playing pickleball through the Lisle Park District. There's many people here I know that I didn't know a year ago, and I'm friends with them. It's wonderful. Pickleball is a very social sport. I like tennis too, but it hasn't given me the social component that pickleball does. There's something about pickleball. We're closer together. We talk. It's wonderful. I know there's controversy over the noise from a few people, and that's unfortunate. I think the one thing we can agree on today is that we will not agree. I just hope that the outcome of today is going to be what's best for Lisle. I ask, please do not destroy courts that already exist. Taking out the courts instead of trying a sound barrier first seems short-sighted, at least to me. If you take away the Abbeywood courts, or the Abbeywood courts next, these courts are in demand because pickleball is a well-loved sport. Lisle residents are using the courts, getting exercises and socializing. We really do have a pickleball community. Our group has been very respectful of the 8 a.m. start time at Abbeywood. I ask, please stay true to your mission, be community focused. If there's not a demand for pickleball, then revisit the idea of changing courts. Otherwise, please see how much the community wants these sports by looking at their usage. Don't we want to have the people of Lisle, don't we want to have things that they want to use in Lisle? I would hope so. Thank you. Would you like what I wrote? You want a copy of what I wrote? Good evening. I'm sorry, we've been late because we just came from a hospital. My name is Margarita. I am living 40 feet from Abbeywood Court, and I'm sorry for my English, it's my third language. Weekend, morning. Someone cannot wait to play pickleball and rushes to start hitting the ball at 8 a.m. And someone, after a heart surgery, wants to sleep in his bed at least until 9 a.m., but he can't because the construction noise from pickleball does not give him peace and causes stress with his noise. I'm sorry, I am in very big stress right now too. And someone has the desire to romantically play in the dark when someone wakes up after the first dream after heart surgery and cannot sleep anymore because of the stress they have experienced. And someone else, following all the stress caused by pickleball noise
in the past 2 years is waiting for the heart surgery. It's me, actually. My husband already got. Closest house to pickleball court in Abbeywood Park. Formerly, the healthiest people a couple of years ago suddenly have serious heart problems. That are my husband and me. From what? From stress. Where does the stress come from? From Lisle village government playing to improve the lives of the townspeople. And I am not against the pickleball. I am a pickleball player, I am tennis player, I am swimmer, I am bicyclist. And that was 2 years ago, until we moved to that house, dream house. Okay, so only and really it's improving for us. Once I asked Mr. Garvey, why didn't you come up with this and sign up to set a shooting range in Abbeywood Park? Maybe it would have cost less and that project would have ended our lives sooner. We arrived 34 years ago to escape from totalitarian dictatorship to a free democratic country. We were happy, we worked, and we worked 3 jobs because we wanted to create a bright and hopeful future for ourselves. And we set about buying our dream house. We were happy. No, we are not happy anymore, because after 2 years, we think that maybe we need to look for a place in cemetery. Because it is a free democratic country. It may not have a dictatorship, but the authorities of the town of Lisle are doing such projects from which townspeople can die who lives 40 feet close to the courts. Not from hunger and cold, as people died in Siberia, but from the damage of their health caused and stress experience. And for what? Isn't human life more important than money? Does the Lisle Township Park Board really need those paid pickleball classes at Abbeywood Park for money? Why then was the reckless and expensive mistake of installing those pickleball courts? Does the pickleball ambassador really need that salary while turning a blind eye to the health damage it caused to the residents of surrounding houses? Don't you think that before putting our signature on a project, you need to do some homework to ask people about their decisions, whose lives will be affected so much in a bad way? Don't you think that mistakes have to be corrected in the right way as soon as possible? Does the Lisle town government really get democracy? So no one is taking your app. Thank you.
Hi everybody, Mickey Lewis. I've lived in Lisle for almost 30 years. I live off of Brookwood Court in Green Trails inside Hidden Lakes. I feel bad. Hey, we've all gone through things in our life in terms of health issues. I have too. I've had cancer twice. I've had 4 replacements. I mean, we all have done things. And now playing pickleball, I feel fresh and vitalized and, so excited to be part of this group. I'm going to start with the end in mind. And my statement is going to be, choosing to buy a home across from a public park comes with the understanding that the park is a shared community space. It is important to recognize the park district's role is to serve the needs of the entire community, just like this gentleman said. It is feasible for them them to make, it's not feasible for them to make a significant change to restrict the activities to accommodate individual concerns about noise and other disruptions. I too work from home. There's lots of noises that come on, but guess what? When I ask people on my Zoom calls, do you hear anything? They don't. So the computers are now so much more advanced that they're not hearing the background noises. All of us, we are here because we love Lisle. We think this is a hidden gem. It's convenience, it's people, it's environment. Of course, we love our parks, and thank you for being our park people. In having 23,000 people live here, only 4 of the 21 tennis courts are dedicated to pickleball. And we really only have a 5-month window to play. And with the heat and the rain, you have to kind of take that into consideration as well. So 16 people out of 23,000 people are playing at any one time on a pickleball court. And no one is using the courts many times in terms of the tennis courts. So how do we handle having a handful of residents dictate how we want to use our park? And 2 words that come to mind, and that is free choice. We all have free choice to choose where we live. Living by a public park is a choice, and expectations of noise increase. Hey, I grew up by O'Hare, and I know what that noise is every single minute. I chose to move. That was a choice. Going back to 2017, me and some other people, you can blame me for starting this off, originated the pickleball option at Abbeywood. There was a couple of us that really got together and do it. And so finally in 2018, just so you know, you probably know this, is that we got lines on 3 of the courts. So we were all excited for that. And from 2018 to 2021, we still only had a couple lines on 3 of the courts, and that was still fine. This one family bought their home in 21. We had been playing pickleball there for already 3 years. So it wasn't anything new, and we had, we wanted actually 2 tennis courts replaced, and we only got 1 replaced with the 2 pickleball courts at Abbeywood. A couple things I just think is ironic is the people that are complaining also play pickleball. And of course, selling pickleball paddles, I just think is ironic that if you don't want people to be playing, why are you selling them? So that was just odd. I did some research on decibels, and I noticed, basketball is 80 decibels. We go out to eat, it's 85 decibels. So within 100 feet of courts, it's 70 decibels for pickleball, and then 200 is about 64. Inside a home, if it's raining, if it's air conditioned, if we're having the air conditioning on over 72, 75 degrees, tell me what is the decibel rate of a pickleball hitting the paddle? That's what I want to know. I have a lot of research here. I've got pictures. I've got things in terms of, seeing how many people are really playing at the pickleball court. I'd like to hear what other people would say, or can we do some kind of an informational, maybe a camera, and find out how much we're really utilizing the pickleball court. And then, what else can we do? Can we get those soft balls? I think you get $150 worth for 48 balls. Let's just put them out there on the courts. Maybe that could be something, and revisit those lessening panels. So just going in summary, we are here. We love it here. You guys and us have gone above and beyond in terms of how we can please a few people. Thank you. Okay.
Hi, my name is Debbie Rembus, and I live on Berkshire Court in Green Trails. For 16 years, my husband, kids, and I have been avid participants in the Lisle Park District's diverse offerings. A particular highlight for us has been the pickleball programming led by the exceptional instructor, Bill Littell. The noise concerns at the Abbeywood courts have been a contentious issue for over a year and a half. And during that time, I've had a recurring question in my mind to which I've yet to hear a satisfactory explanation. And that question is, and I really do wonder this, why were sound barriers not installed. I understand that in 2023, the neighbors rejected the idea of sound barriers because they would pose an obstruction to their park view. This can't possibly be true, as parks change and evolve, and it would set a terrible precedent to reject an idea because one's line of sight is inconvenienced. Another objection I've heard is cost, specifically in regard to a $100,000 plexiglass solution that was proposed. But I imagine the board has researched extensively and found more affordable options. A third objection I've read about is related to ineffectiveness in terms of blocking noise to the second level of nearby homes. Is this accurate? If sound barriers could mitigate even a portion of the noise, and in conjunction with other measures that were suggested this evening, wouldn't that be a satisfactory compromise for those seeking a win-win solution? Perhaps satisfactory, although not perfect. Understood. I'm aware that there reportedly have been no noise complaints from the homes in similarly close proximity to the Arbor View courts. What measures have been taken or lessons learned there that would be transferable to Abbeywood? The board discussed in its June 2024 meeting the idea of implementing quiet court restrictions at Abbeywood, which would require residents to purchase expensive sound dampening paddles and balls. This idea would be cost prohibitive to residents, and it would be akin to requiring park board approved swimsuits at Sea Lion. I believe this idea may have been discarded. Would you please confirm it is no longer under consideration? We know that the neighbors' stated goal is the removal of the Abbeywood courts, and it has been suggested that the addition of the 6 Tate Woods courts would more than make up for removal of the 2 Abbeywood courts. However, the important distinction is that Tate Woods is not a neighborhood park, and it does not offer the unique living experience that Green Trails does, where parks and activities are seamlessly integrated into our community. Tate Woods is not accessible through the Green Trails path system. The installation of the Abbeywood courts aligns with the original Green Trails mission of increasing outdoor activity for the whole family through accessible open spaces. I am a bit familiar with the challenges of living on a park. My husband and I bought our first home on a residential street facing a busy Chicago park that offered soccer and softball, among other activities. We enjoyed the park amenities and lived there 9 years despite constant noise, traffic, activity, and property damage. We knew that living near a park would pose challenges, so we adapted our expectations and our behavior because the park offered immense benefits. I am hoping that a similar spirit of compromise can prevail in Green Trails. Okay. The last thing I'll say is that I am concerned by the increasingly inflammatory and divisive rhetoric on this issue. Social media posts contain misinformation and name-calling. The NBC Nightly News segment done in 2023 implied that Lisle was unresponsive to neighbors' concerns, which was and is far from the truth. I urge the Park District to bring this matter to a resolution by reconsidering the idea of sound barriers in conjunction with other measures discussed here in order to maintain the Abbeywood courts and the unique character of Green Trails while addressing the concerns of all residents who are amenable to a fair and equitable solution. Thank you for your time and consideration.
Risk my better judgment. I'll try turning this mic back on. Was there another hand? Oh, over there. Sorry, I see you now.
Good evening. My name is Lorraine Chavoche. I live at 5539 Rainier Drive in Lisle. I've been a resident here for 28 years, and I'm representing the pickleball community. I would first like to thank the board and staff for the project at Tate Woods and installing 6 courts there. I am proud to say that the pickleball community worked hand in hand with the Park District to expedite those plans. This is going to be another wonderful place for people to get outside, use our park, socialize, and just have fun. So thank you for that ongoing project. Now I'd like to switch gears and talk about the current situation at Abbeywood. Last year, I spoke at a board meeting in response to a few neighbors' concerns over noise when pickleball is played. One neighbor even had a noise report prepared, however, did not include one actual sound level measurement. These were only estimated readings. Also, as a reminder, the Village of Lisle noise ordinance has exceptions from noise requirements from parks from the hours of 7 a.m. to 10 p.m. Therefore, the noise ordinance does not apply at Abbeywood during these hours. However, in good faith, the pickleball community worked together last year and came up with a variety of solutions. You heard them tonight: reducing hours of play, no pickleball machines, no loud music, and also the proposal to install the $30,000 sound barrier that was rejected. After that rejection, it was clear to me that the board said no more time or effort is going to be placed on the noise issue at Abbeywood. I thought the board made it crystal clear. Again, no more taxpayer dollars spent on that issue. However, when I watched last month's June board meeting, it was clear to me that resources and actions have been spent on noise issues with the neighbors at Abbeywood. Decisions were made, but the pickleball community was not included. A few examples, people already talked about eliminating the 8 a.m. lessons, no more lessons for August, September, and October until Tate Woods is open, and also removal of the portalet, which I would ask you to reevaluate that decision. So anyway, these are a few decisions that were made that the pickleball community was not aware of. In closing, I would ask that elected officials of the park board to make decisions for the entire community taxpayer base and not a select few. Do not be bullied. Thank you.
Thank you. Yep, go ahead.
Hello. I too am nervous, just like Lisa. I have an actual fear of microphones, so if that tells you what pickleball means to me, is talking in front of this microphone.
Can we get a name?
Oh, Joanne Madigan. I live at 2107 Scarlet Oak Lane. I have been a Lisle resident for 33 years. Lived there with my husband and my 3 children. I am 60, so I'm, I guess, in the middle range. Not as old as some, but not as young as others. We loved the Park District when we were growing up. We used it all the time for swim lessons, tennis lessons, baseball, all of that. But for many years now, we have not been using the Lisle Park District. And I started playing pickleball about 2 years ago, but I never took any lessons. So I went and took lessons from the infamous Bill and the Lisle Park District over at Abbeywood. It gave me a renewed sense of community. And I believe that's what Lisle is all about. I met a wonderful group of women and men, reconnected with some old friends I have not seen in years over at the pickleball court. It is a vital part of the community over at Lisle. I too live in a park with soccer practice, lacrosse games, band practices. We welcome these groups. We love listening to the children. We love them to use the amenities of Lisle. I want to emphasize how important our parks are and our community meeting places to make friends, socialize, especially exercise in our older years. I work from 10 to 2, 5 days a week. Bill's 8 a.m. class was perfect. I could ride my bike over. I could take the 8 a.m. class, get back home, shower, and make it to work. I really miss that class. I wish we would get that class back and have that time slot. I would love to continue meeting new pickleball players in the Lisle community. I am also a tax-paying resident, of course, just like everyone else. In closing, please bring back our 8 o'clock class, the porta potty, and not to close the Abbeywood courts.
Thank you. Oh, yes, sir, over there.
Hello, Park Board. Thank you for the time. My name is Jason Porch, live on Breckenridge Road in Lisle, 20-year resident. I'll be pretty brief here. For many years, I've run around the trails and walked the trails in Lisle. And if you look at, most of the tennis courts and a lot of facilities, even like playgrounds, there's been a lot of investment that the community, that you as the park board has made that to improve them, like repaving tennis courts or revitalizing playgrounds, and appreciate the work of replacing those, but in very much they are still very often unused. So if you look at like sort of the return on investment of good work that the park district does, which I appreciate, it's one of the prides of Lisle, is when you do work, when you invest our taxpayer money on a facility, is it drawing the community to it? And the Abbeywood pickleball court is a total success if you go by that measure, with the lessons and other activities and just the social of bringing people together. So if you really want to measure how your return on your investment of our taxpayer dollars, I mean, this is truly a success. The Tate Woods will also be a success, but the disruption of lessons for 2 months or 3 months would definitely not be a success. So I'm just keeping it brief. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. Are there any other comments? No. All right. There's no further any further public comment. Okay. With that, I will close public comment. All right, I will move on to, I will entertain a motion to approve the meeting agenda.
So moved.
Second.
Oh, yeah. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. I will entertain a motion to approve the consent agenda items inclusive of the July voucher list in the amount of $664,000, $386.68.
I actually want to pull item C for discussion. So
okay.
I'll make a motion to approve consent agenda items A and B.
Second.
Yes, Commissioner Hummel.
Aye.
Commissioner Allpeter.
Aye.
Commissioner Capella.
Aye.
President Wessel.
Aye. So for consent agenda item C, time of discussion.
Yeah. Do we need a motion first and a discussion, or? Okay. So I went out there this afternoon to take a look at the site, and I know I emailed staff, and the one thing I had a concern with is there's an area, would you call it a culvert, I guess, or?
Yeah, it's a little detention
Yeah.
area.
So how's the fence going to run over that? Is it allowed to run over that if it's like a drainage area?
Superintendent's already researching.
Yeah.
We actually had that conversation the other day.
And also, would there be a gap then too? Is that? Yeah. And then is it a chain link fence then? Is it going to be a chain?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's what's proposed.
Okay. All right. And then I did forget to notice, is there a fence, or is there going to be a fence like along by where the train tracks are too, or?
No.
So it's only for the front,
Yeah, right.
so somebody could still get in through via the, if they were to come down the train.
Climb over by foot, they'd have to climb and walk over the tracks down
Yeah.
there.
All right.
We've not seen activity like that in years. In fact, we were just laughing about that this morning about how people used to, but we don't get that. It's more for vehicle and for theft, any theft of materials in our house.
Well, I guess, should we wait then to next month to vote on this to see the answers as far as if we're able to put the fence over that area? Because if it's not permitted or.
What it had cost them?
I mean, if I was gonna move, to award the 2024 Parks Operations Facility Fencing Project to Classic Fence from Montgomery for an amount not to exceed $36,807.
Well, I guess, I mean, should we?
If it's not gonna change the cost, I don't see why.
If there would be any cost, just like any other project, it would be on top. You don't have a permit. Project there for fence permitting. But if they change after that, it would be something that would be on top of whatever that is. But again, I don't see that being any extra significant cost. I mean, if we're talking just that area, I don't know. Again, I don't know what they're going to require by permit. Other than plan on covering that spot.
Do you remember how long we required the bidders to hold their price? 60 days?
I think it's 60 years.
I would think, given that, there probably is time to, wait till next month.
Then how long, I mean, I guess I just worry about then, we all know about the product shortages, then are we delaying it if the product is ordered?
At this point, I don't think it's an issue. I think it's a problem. That means that you're far.
Until there's permit.
I guess my concern is though somebody could still get in through the back way. I mean, it might be a little bit more.
That's never been really a concern. It's fenced on 3 sides with the railroad tracks on the big berm on the other. I don't know if you've seen anybody down there, but I hadn't when I was working down there for 15 years.
Why?
And the issue.
We don't have that kind of traffic during the day.
No, and the issue with the fencing is that we get a lot of vehicles that end up going down there that circle the garage. They can see everything that's laying out. I don't think we're as worried about a pedestrian getting back there because they're not going to be able to lug anything out. It's more for vehicles that end up down there. They could load a pickup truck with stone or gravel or any other picnic tables that are stored outside, playground equipment, parks, things like that.
Now that we have the Dodge garage down there, we get a lot more vehicle traffic. I think they can see there's something there. I mean, it's not public property, it's not part of the parks. We get a lot of people that hurt if there's a small beach or something in the park, they hurt out the back. We have and there's 3 or 4 people sitting here. Much more prevalent.
Well, yeah, you're okay. Yeah. Is there a second on my motion?
A second.
Yes. Commissioner Alpeter?
Aye.
Commissioner Tapella?
Aye.
Commissioner Hummel?
No.
President Wessel?
Aye.
Motion passes. new business there, staff reports, pickleball courts, current and future use discussion.
I guess I'll start because I guess I didn't really realize, and I just called in about this, that we were discontinuing programming, and I was a little disappointed in that. I thought, I thought the consensus kind of was that once Cape Woods was open, we would move it there, but not that we would ever discontinue programming for our residents, especially such a popular program. So, I think I'd like to see that immediately brought back. I didn't realize that it was discontinued.
Before we go, Dan, I know you had sent us an email around just the idea of like, could we do some sort of kind of court situation in community park?
Yes.
I don't know if you wanted to
sure
brief the board on like, kind of thoughts around that.
Yeah, we have the ability to install lines, pickleball court lines on one of the existing tennis courts in community park. We corresponded with the Lisle High School's athletic director because, as you probably know, those 4 courts are used as the high school boys and girls teams as their home court. So they practice, they have tournament play out there throughout their seasons. And they operate both in the fall and the spring. They reported back that they have no issues with putting lines on the tennis courts. They have no issues with storing temporary or portable pickleball nets out there. Downers Grove, a lot of districts have them, but the one that comes to mind quickest is Downers Grove Park District in Collin Park. They built a huge complex in Collin Park where they also have pickleball court lines on tennis courts, and they have these portable nets, and they leave them on site. So I think we can do that. The nets that similar to what Downers Grove has, they're less than $500. They're on wheels that are easily to move. They're relatively heavy duty, and they're not so expensive. So if they get damaged or stolen, it's not like we're out, $3,000. You could spend as much as you want, as you can imagine, on portable nets. So that's one opportunity. I think certainly they're not bona fide or pickleball only courts, but they could have lines, they could have official nets. There's lighting out there, so the ability to have classes or clinics or even just open play until 11 o'clock at night exists. And again, knowing if the high school, the main users of that complex, if they express no concern with if we were to pursue that, I think that becomes a viable option.
Dan, are they proposing that they have no issue for a limited time period or indefinitely?
High school?
Yeah.
I'm assuming indefinitely. We would have to work around their practice schedule. So, for example, they practice typically, I think it's 5 to 7 in the beginning of the season, and then as days get shorter and the sun goes down sooner, then they shift them to 4 to 6. But with lights, I think we have the ability to move or to conduct lessons out there, like I said, well past the customary hours.
And I know you mentioned those nets. Are they readily available, or is that like going to be a duck situation?
No, they are available either on Amazon, and send an email to one of the other distributors of them, and if we were to order them, for example, today before 3 o'clock, they'd get here Saturday. So they're readily available. If we order them, I would imagine we'd have them within 3 or 4 days.
You talk with the program, with the drug, who runs the program to see if that would be.
Yeah, I had a conversation. Yeah, we had a conversation. I think it was yesterday or the day before. It was open to it, but hadn't had an opportunity to discuss it with some more pickleball folks to get their take on it.
The idea of never came in here yet.
I think one of my takeaways that I really liked though was that that is kind of one of the lifestyles of the Green Trail. So is the fact that you have all of these activities in that area, and that is a giant concentration of our taxing body. And I think I'm very much understanding why it has thrived in that community. It partially is because people can bike there to go to their lessons, and people can readily walk there with neighbors and things, and it's part of kind of you live there. It's kind of a lifestyle. And so I I'm a little concerned. I mean, I think that we have made the commitment to it down the Tape Woods, but I'm a little concerned with such a large populace and such a large about the participants of those programs living in those communities that we're really going to be serving them if we move to. That's my only concern. Is that I don't want to see us just add something and we add it to add it, but not really to the benefit of people, participants that are using it. So I want us just to be cognizant of that. I mean, I think compromise is great, but let's face it, we're in a lesson and we're in a learning environment. I mean, that's an organized activity. That's not nuisance noise in a park. That's an organized activity, and that's what our parks are meant for. We all as taxpayers pay for is that we want us to have open space and we want to be able to have those recreation experiences in our communities. And in some cases for those, for Joanne, that meant riding her bike there in the morning. For other residents, it meant, they walk on the trails to get there for that, kind of warm up on your way to community. So get in the car and do that is that a deterrent then for participation.
They're excited about taking what you're going to do.
Yeah.
I understand. I'm just, no, that's another change. But Tape Woods are going to be dedicated ones. They're not going to be temporary nets. And there is a difference in that. And I'm just, when we have, I get that 11 o'clock at night is disruptive when we're programming at a park, whether it be tennis lessons or pickleball lessons. That's the intended use of that space for the residents of this community. And so, I'm great that we're coming with a compromise when Tape Woods is open. That, to me, was the compromise. Not like we're going to now displace everybody or eliminate a program for them.
Yeah, you want to go over?
Go for it.
No, I'm good with keeping the Abbeywood courts as pickleball courts, going forward. I do kind of agree with President Wessel, though. Like, I think the compromise would be good is to try to move it to community park for the classes and the lessons temporarily until Tape Woods is open. Like you said, they're going to move to Tape Woods in the future anyway. So for a month or two, I think that's, if we could set it up to get it at community park, that would be good. But keep the pickleball courts permanently at Abbeywood. So, and I know there was a speaker that talked about like the usage of the parks, the return on investment. As everybody just saw in the last item, I'm a little bit stickler on finances sometimes, and this is a good investment. We spent a lot of money on these courts to convert them to pickleball courts, or rebuild them and make pickleball courts, and people use it, so it's a good return on investment.
So, I would say, I would hope you guys feel the same. I was very encouraged by all the feedback that we received today on all ends of the spectrum. It's really nice to see passion regardless of where that passion stems from. And I think that, our role obviously is to take into consideration the broad spectrum of the community. And we do that through forums like this, right? We hear feedback in person, we get emails, we have suggestion boxes. But one of our other huge sources of getting a really good idea of what the community really wants was our surveys, and our strategic master plan reflected the results of the survey to the broader community this last year. Our overall plan really focused on improving and increasing the pickleball resource throughout the community. So my stance on the issue, and I know that we're not asking to get rid of pickleball here. I don't think that, that's never been on the table. The major question is, what do we do with the issue as it's been presented by residents, specifically at Abbeywood Park? I think something that we need to be cognizant of, and we talked about this at our last meeting, is that this is a new developing community sport. We're learning new things every single week. I feel like we're getting new information and we're getting new innovative ways of doing things. And I think that's going to continue. We see that through some of the research that was presented or shared at last month's meeting also about what they're doing. Where is it? Seattle, about how they're doing cool research about the potential for being able to find common ground within the pickleball communities in residential areas. And I love that. And I think that our role as the park board is to continue staying abreast of that and making sure that we're on the cutting edge of what information is there and how does that fit into our community and the needs of our community. All that being said, where I'm sitting with the Abbeywood issue specifically is, you know, number one, I do not believe the program should be cut at all. But I do think that what Director Garvey has proposed and the staff has proposed for finding an alternative, potentially temporary, maybe long-term solution of being able to move the programming to another facility, I think is a fantastic compromise. I think what it does is it doesn't eliminate the courts that we've invested in Abbeywood Park, which are used heavily by residents and others, but it moves the programming so that the more structured play and the things that maybe are presenting more of the consistent issue for local residents is still an option for our pickleball players, but is not a dedicated source of contention for the local residents. So what I would love to see is just a continuation again of exactly what we said last month, which is, yes, when Tate Woods opens, the idea is that's where the programming will eventually permanently move. In the interim, I think we should look at what options we have for compromise. And right now, I think the best solution is what Director Garvey has presented, which is moving to the high school. So the programming doesn't need to stop. I think I don't know the exact specifics on how the programming would continue. I think it's a best effort to make sure that continue programming without interruption. And we go from there. And I think that we take a look. We see what happens at Abbeywood after Tate Woods opens. That's what we mentioned in last month's meeting. I think we stick with that. We don't know what's going to happen in that space. Making physical changes to Abbeywood Park, I think, doesn't fit our budget whatsoever. I think that if in the future that was a discussion we need to have, it needs to be fiscally discussed as well before just making a split decision. I'm not proposing that that change happens. I'm just saying that's something we have to take into consideration with that too. So that would be my position on the bigger picture.
The other thing just that I wanted to make is, I think I personally didn't really think too much about when it was in a staff report about that we moved the portalet. I guess I didn't put so much into it. And I really thank the residents for coming and speaking, because there were considerations I had never considered, that somebody is walking and that on your walk as we age, I mean, we all, need to find a bathroom, and to have that concrete knowledge that it was 40 more minutes to walk to a toilet. Is there some way we can find, Dan, a place to put it where it wouldn't be, tracking in the park? Wasn't that part of the problems, Aaron, is that we were getting, doing damage to the park pulling it out?
think typically we don't put porta potties where in parks that don't have active use or programmed activities. So if there's consensus to move lessons to community park, then it kind of doesn't fit what our practice has been.
And is that why we initially put it out there, is because we were programming?
Absolutely.
Okay, and that answers my question.
It hadn't been there until about 2 years.
I just was kind of caught up there.
Yeah.
People brought up the portal.
I didn't think
it was that big of a deal, but we moved it.
And that path, and I just want, that path is destroyed, and it is destroyed from the truck. There's depressions where the wheels go. It's not normal.
Well, thanks, that's all I really want to
Yeah,
know.
that's good, yeah.
You were surprised too?
No, yeah, no, actually, I was gonna bring that back up. The other one court issue was Valley Forge. Are we just gonna put a sign that's more explicit that no pickleball?
Yeah.
Okay.
So I guess back to the point at hand. So if we all seem on the same page, that programming should be. I think I know you're kind of in view of more the actual thing, but.
I mean, I'm fine. I wanted that. I just wanted to make sure that I gave my opinion about.
Yeah. No, yeah, I mean, I hear
really,
you.
that was one comment that I wrote down because I really appreciated that. And I think Tom brought up the second half of his thing is that, return on your investment, but kind of that just, those were some points that really struck me as like important and made a lot of sense.
Yeah, no, and I agree, right? Like I do live in the neighborhood, right? So I do get the appeal of those trails and just walking around and like just stumbling into like, oh, there's a park over here. I didn't even know that, right? Like it's great. I love it, but like clearly a problem. So like might not be an ideal solution, but we got to find something that meets some sort of middle ground. So I feel like community park.
One more item too. Are we going to reinstitute staff time, no longer discussing the pickleball? Or you want to re-implement that, or I know it.
Is there anything I feel like we need to at least at some point, I don't know if it's August or September, right? When Pigwood is online. And we've seen what it does for a week or two, for a month or two. Like we might need to revisit this one more time. I don't know. But
I think it's gonna take a longer time than that.
Yeah.
I personally don't want to see us do anything this year. And you had a really great point, is that we did allocate a lot of money already to that park. And I don't want to see us, that is gonna have to be, Terry's right, it's gonna have to be, that'll have to be a whole discussion then if we're gonna go and repurpose anything there, because then we would have to direct staff to, then everything would have to kind of be changed back. So we would have to allocate funds and that kind of thing. So, I mean, that's where I'm gonna lie on this. I mean, as far as, it's a lot of staff time. That was another great point. Everybody spoke today had great points, was that yes, that, that you not only look at our tax dollars, that they believed we were gonna take something away, but also that the staff that they pay for basically has been directed so much of their time on this issue.
I was just saying, like, staff spending time on this issue going forward, like how we told them like a year or so ago, no more. Do we want to at least implement that for the next couple months or not yet? I guess that's where I was more talking about. I think we should stop having staff spend time on it.
I think till the end of the season. So I think that's a good time. I don't know that we're going to have enough to be able to make actionable decisions at that point, but I think that we could at least put a placeholder in to say by the end of the season, let's see how things are going. Let's take all the information that we have at that point, and then we can decide what do we do next.
What are the courts scheduled to be open?
They laid the asphalt down today.
Oh.
So Aaron, you could probably speak to it.
We'll be able to open the courts when we have park. So at this point, the asphalt plate needs 2 to 3 weeks to cure.
maybe November, December for revisit.
Yeah. Yeah.
Good point.
I'm just trying to get time.
Yeah, no, makes sense.
Did you answer though, I mean, Tom and I both kind of are in agreement.
Yeah, I guess,
What you guys think, I mean,
I was kind of where Terry was. I said, whatever, I threw out August, September. I guess I was kind of in my head when I said that, I was thinking end of season, right? Like, so I guess, but maybe I went back to October. But yes, I guess, but
for now,
I don't want to keep roundabouts. Like, we're not going to solve anything between now and so yes, I guess that's where we're at. Yeah.
And assuming that our move forward is programming continues, moves to the high school and community park, thank you, moves to community park, and then as soon as Tate Woods opens, programming moves to Tate Woods. Is that our?
Yeah.
Okay. Then yes, I agree. Table the issue.
Decided we're just tabling any discussion about we're just leaving the park ambulate as it is.
Yes.
Right.
Without programming, yeah, and adding a sign at the other park. Probably. Thank you.
Written report is submitted. We actually have a call tomorrow with the American Ramp Company people. They're going to show us the 2 renderings they've come up with that they'll be presenting is in that open house on Monday evening.
I just want to confirm meetings 5 to 7.
Yes, 5
Okay.
to 7 at the skate park.
Okay.
Yeah, next
what?
Monday.
There was an email about it, I think. So I read it somewhere, so if I read it, then yes, it was communicated. I think it was in one of the updates.
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw it too. Okay, sorry.
Ramp C-SPAR report is submitted. Officer reports. Last time we talked, so we did go through 4 o'clock. Yeah. Yeah, so I was there at the 3rd of July. It seemed like a great success. So Dan, John, staff, right? Great job. It was nuts out there, but seems like everything went really smoothly. So staff had a great time. We saw the 4th we saw the parade. That was fun. Weather was kind of downer. Wasn't as many people as last year, but still a lot of fun. Brendan still is chucking sponge balls around my backyard, so appreciate that as well. That I had like 16 more of those, so thank you.
You guys, kids, got annihilated.
And then just the last couple of Wednesdays, the other additional concerts in the park. Last night, 2 weeks ago, I thought again great jobs by the staff. I think it was a lot of fun. Brendan is absolutely loving going on stage, so he's been coming up on stage and screaming "Hello, Lisle!" and I think it's quite fun. So yeah, anyway, great start to summer, so I'm excited to finish it out. Oh, I guess, yeah. Scott?
Also was at the 4th of July parade. It was a lot of fun. And the 3rd was amazing again, as always. There was nice to see so many residents and non-residents out in the park, but it seemed to me like a really heavy resident population on the 3rd, which is really nice to see. It was really nice, very organized event.
I think the biggest thing staff has noticed since the Eyes to the Skies event was just that, the lack of litter. I firmly believe that has a lot to do with it. I mean, John and your team cleaned up after July 3rd, that hill in 5 minutes, where that would be those of us who've always volunteered to pick litter there, that's an hour.
The only thing I would say is that I'd like to maybe see us going forward, just the mass amount of people. I personally was appalled at the disrespect of youth that were, I had personally asked to get off the roof of the north shelter, and because I told you wrong shelter, and multiple times going up on that shelter, just literally disrespecting, literally telling me profanity to go tell myself, and got back up on the roof soon afterward. It was a dangerous situation. There were probably 25 to 30 people up there. I'm wondering if there's not some way we can deter that. I know south has been a problem. I can tell you, having been on the Eyes to the Skies committee for years, that was never a problem. I'm just really appalled now that all of a sudden people find that kind of behavior.
I think that's easily solved. I think we communicate that to the police because they're out. We've seen they're out there in force, and if they just keep an eye on that, include that as they walk or that loop trail, because that's they do. They walk around.
Were you not shocked that it was so prevalent? Much more prevalent?
Well, yeah, we've not had that. We've had it the last couple of years, but I don't remember it being as.
You personally were at South Shelter, what, 2 or 3 times to get kids down? Or
twice.
Yeah. I'm very shocked by that. Especially with the amount of people we had out there. That you would just think that that's those kind of behaviors. So I.
So I was at the parade as well, and a lot of people there. It was fun as usual. I wasn't at the 4th of July, but I know you're July 3rd, but I know you were talking about it at the parade, and I agree. Probably have to try to nip that one in the bud before it gets out of control, because I know there's been other communities this past 4th of July did have some issues. That they had so you don't want that to ramp up. Driving in tonight, I did see that the community band was having a concert. It was already a good crowd, and it was over a half hour before the show, because it starts at 7:30, I believe. And then one question, because I haven't had a chance to drive around, was there a lot of any storm damage after all the wind and stuff this past week? We had a fair amount.
Thing I had to add. So I was at the parade on the 4th. It was fantastic. We loved picking on Carrie. So that was a lot of fun. And I've said this before, but we're fortunate. We get a lot of out of town visitors, and we were able to bring some Southern Californians to the community band performance week before last. And it's always encouraging and fantastic when I hear the feedback from people that don't live here, but that live in huge, thriving communities, come back and say, wow, this is amazing. And the fact that we put this all together and how well organized it was and how safe they feel bringing their kids into our community is just fantastic. And I love hearing it. So.
I will entertain a motion to adjourn the meeting.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor, signify by saying aye.
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 All those in favor, say nay. Signify. All right, motion passes. Adjourned at 8:51.